Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sophia Ali and I'm the academic coordinator at KIMS. Welcome back to my series of videos detailing how we learn and how we should be learning for our O-levels. In the first two videos I talked about note-taking and scheduling. Today I'll be talking more about how we remember, how we retain information, how our brain actually works. And this is kind of my favorite topic because it's very vast, so be prepared for a longer session this time. Our memory is like a filing cabinet. Imagine a huge, massive size filing cabinet in which everything we see or hear or do is filed away in its own personal file. The more senses involved in making a file, the thicker the file, the more likely you are to remember it. So when you're learning any subject, try and involve more senses than just reading. A lot of students tell me that when they are studying for any subject, they read. Reading is not enough. It only involves your eyes. That's it. Try and incorporate more than just reading. Try reading aloud, which incorporates 3 senses. Try reading aloud and then write at the same time, making notes. That involves all 5 senses. Well, not your sense of smell, but that is easily sorted out if you use or if you're sitting in a nice place like a garden or in your own room where you are happy and safe and feel relaxed. So the more senses involved in your learning, experts say, the darker and more deeper the memory, the better the recall. And together with repeating and going over your notes again and again, believe me, that file is going to get really thick really soon. And hopefully you won't forget it soon. As well as using more senses, it's really important to do it often. So a very nice technique which is highly recommended. I've given it to many students myself and I've seen the benefits and the students themselves acknowledge it, is that whenever they are coming into a class, they read beforehand. They read beforehand, they identify areas that they didn't understand, put question marks or use highlighters to color code. Then on the day of the study, while the teacher is giving the lecture, they write their answers down, jot it down on the book. If their question is not answered and they did not get their query and their confusion is not rectified, they actually ask the teacher on the spot. Then when they go back home, they read it again, this time incorporating all the notes that they had made and trying to recall all that the teacher said in the class. Now, just go over it in your mind and think how many senses have been involved so far. How many times that same data has been covered. Yes, it is a lot, it is done often, and therefore it becomes a darker imprint. Now, if you do this on the day and the day before, and do it within 3 days, and then again, if you revise your notes in 3 weeks' time, and in 3 months' time, which is kind of how the school exam session works. Yes, by the time you're preparing for your exam, that topic would be yours for life, and you won't have to panic the night before. And this actually ends up making your memory a tougher one to break. Another good technique for memorization and learning is to use mnemonics. A lot of students associate crazy words, crazy sentences to remember something, especially things like how many filters or what filtration process involves, or difficult spellings. I'm sure everybody has heard the one about because and the mnemonic Coca-Cola for a formula. So use mnemonics if they can help you. Another really important skill and this is to enable you to memorize, is when you are, again, coming back to your notes, when you're making your notes, use colors. Our eyes tend to pick out colors very quickly. And if you're looking at colors, and if your notes are color coded, then important information is going to jump out at you every time you revise that note. And every time you revise it, the deeper and darker that memory will become. So if you look at our memory itself, the brain has 3 layers of memory. The first one, the conscious memory, is like a scratch pad or the whiteboard in the classroom. It gets wiped really quickly the minute it fills up. And a lot of that is not held on to. So that explains why you might remember what you had in the morning, but you might not remember what you had for breakfast in 2 days' time. The next level of memory is the subconscious memory. When you revise something and revise it thoroughly, that information is shifted from your whiteboard onto the notepad, the physical notepad, paper and pen kind. So you need a little bit more hard work to destroy that memory. And then once you have revised it a couple of more times, it gets shifted to your unconscious memory, where you don't actually need to know where it is, but you just know it. And a lot of times you have this information. You'll do something or say something, and then you'll be like, I just know it. You won't recall how you know it, but you know it. And that makes that information yours. CIE does not want you to recall what is written in the book. They don't want you to rote learn anything. They want you to understand. And when you're writing your own notes in your own words, revising them, adapting, changing, adding, subtracting to them, your memory, your recall, your understanding of that subject improves dramatically. And therefore, any kind of question, analysis ones, evaluation ones, they all become second nature, and you'll be able to breeze through those. Well, the last type of memory technique is the memory castle, the brain palace. That is something a bit out of, I would say, our requirements, but it is an interesting technique. A lot of people do use them, and they are the ones that you kind of say, oh my God, this guy knows everything. And that's simply because they've used and they have developed those skills. So, in conclusion, I would suggest that you try all of these things. Try them out, find out what works for you. But remember, stay organized, keep making your notes, trust your memory, and make it a good one. Take care. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.